Good morning and welcome campers to day 2 of Dorset's Festival of the Future. Hope you slept well in your camper vans and your tents wherever you are. I haven't got too much of a crick in the neck. Well, I'll talk about mine in a minute. I'll come back to that. But I'm Matt Prosser and I'm Chief Executive of Dorset Council.
And good morning, everybody. I'm a bit cold. It was a cold night. I'm Aidan Dunn. I'm a director at Dorset Council. So this week, it's National Digital Leaders Week here in the UK and in Dorset here. We've organised a festival, a virtual festival of the future. We've got 64 sessions over 3 days, and this is day two. We've got over 8,000 people attending the sessions, so it's pretty busy around here.
So we've parked up in our camper vans backstage and we're picking up on all the gossip, seeing who's emerging from which tent after a heavy night of virtual partying. I think I heard Sam or Digi McLaren pass my camper van in the early hours. Something about, I think we can get a bacon roll in here. Fortunately, he passed on, but I was awake by then. But anyway, Aidan, any highlights for you?
Oh yeah, it was a great start to the event yesterday. Lots and lots going on, and if you have a look on Twitter, there's some highlights posted on there. But for me, what I'm hearing of things I saw myself and from the team, the yoga, the chair-based yoga was a really popular start to the day. Some good photos online of that one. Not that I'm as flexible as I once was. I was talking to colleagues last night who had attended the Born Digital session, and they were really passionate about it. That session, and it's well worth a catch up by the sound of it. I'm going to see if I can catch up on it. But what they were describing is how the speaker had gone through a really difficult phase of life, struggling with addiction and homelessness, and was digitally excluded, but I went on over a 12-week period, learned how to use a computer, access the internet, and he described his story of how that kind of unlocked a whole new phase of life to him, and how becoming digitally enabled just unlocked so many possibilities. It sounded really, really interesting. So I must catch up on that one. Matt, I think you saw a lunchtime session about digital leadership. How was that?
Yeah, that was really good. We had a session with Craig McHugh on digital leadership, or leadership in a digital age, and some really good stuff packed in there, but reminding us again, actually, digital leadership, it's really just about good leadership. It's just the fact that we've got digital tools and technologies around us. My favourite quote was, though, you manage stuff and you lead people. If you're managing people, you're not in the right place. Really like that. Of course, he quoted some of my favourites, Patrick Lencioni and Simon Sinek, so it was always going to go down well. But hey, we like to have a guest, and I've just seen Digby Sowerby from Wessex Internet passing by. So let's get him into one of the camper vans. Digby, come on in.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Hi, Digby.
Good to see you. So Digby, can you introduce yourself, and who are Wessex Internet?
Yeah, so Digby Sowerby here from Wessex Internet. A bit of a heavy night last night, but I'm a bit sad that I missed the yoga session this morning, because I feel like I need a bit of a stretch before the Agritech session a bit later today.
Agritech. So what's all that about then?
So that's all about some trials that Dorset are involved in. So it's sort of the largest Agritech trials using 5G in the UK, essentially. Right. And it's something about robots and growing wheat? That's right. So one of the trials that we're hoping to run is looking at robotics growing wheat, so automated process, so robots can grow wheat. But we've got loads of other trials, and a lot is focused on the environment in these as well. So it's a really, really positive step.
And Digby, so just can you say a bit more about Wessex Internet? So there's a company that you're involved with, and they organising the trials. What is Wessex Internet?
Yeah, so Wessex Internet, they were set up about 10 years ago. They're a full fibre provider in Dorset. They're a family business in Dorset, and essentially they provide internet to the most remote areas. They set up because they were just fed up of not being able to get internet themselves, so they just had a go at it. And now they've got a network across Dorset, and they're perfect for the trials because they were born out of a farm, but at the same time, a lot of our customers are farmers, and we work very closely with farmers, so we feel like we understand them, and then we also understand the infrastructure side, so it's a perfect mix, really.
Yeah. And can you say a little bit about yourself, Digby? I'm intrigued. It's quite a niche role. Is this? I mean, how have you? Are you a Dorset lad? How have you ended up working in Dorset?
I'm afraid I'm a northerner, which I think must be the worst of the worst. So I'm from Lincolnshire originally, but very happy to have moved down to Dorset a few months ago when I joined Wessex Internet. living in Dorchester now, and I absolutely adore the county, and yeah, coastline and just the countryside. But essentially, I was brought up on a farm in Lincolnshire. Probably their home county farming, if I'm allowed to say that. I'm not sure if I am. And then I went and studied French management at university, and has sort of fallen into this role at West Internet.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Dorset. It's one of the themes, and Matt and I will be talking about this a bit later. Is how can we attract and indeed retain talented people such as yourself? How do we attract them into Dorset? Because it's the opportunities, perhaps at face value aren't always there for good jobs, interesting, well-paid jobs. But it does seem, it sort of feels like the start of a niche area, doesn't it? It's something that we're really interested in as a council to promote the economic wealth of Dorset as well.
Absolutely. I think there's so much potential in this area. And I think COVID is in the one blessing of COVID is maybe that's an accelerator for some of this stuff. And I mean, village halls turning into WeWork spaces where people can work with people from different industries and set up new businesses in villages and towns. I think there's massive potential to bring young people back into rural areas. And that's very much what Wessex Internet's all about and what I'm all about too.
Well, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Well, I can't believe you had a late night because you're full of energy, and I'm sure the session's going to be really, really good. So, guys, tune in to hear Digby Serby on the Wessex Internet session later on this morning. Brilliant. Thanks, Digby. Hope it goes really, 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 really well. Thanks for joining us in the
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Cheers, Digby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, Aidan, so what's caught your eye on today's programme?
Yeah. Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it? Some energy there. So today's program, there's 24 sessions running across the day. I spoke yesterday about, well, and as Digby's just touched on, really, COVID is inevitably a theme, as sort of a backdrop to everything today. So I think there's two sessions in particular that have got a COVID related that I think would be interesting. 10 o'clock this morning, there's a talk by John Sloper, who ran a project, runs a project called Help and Kindness, and it's about the role of digital in the community response to COVID. And I spoke to John on the Digital Dorset podcast a month or so ago, and it's fascinating about how technology simply can connect people and organize things and just make life easier and better. So I really recommend that, 10 o'clock. 11:30, so still with the COVID theme, we've got one of our own councillors, Councillor Peter Wolfe, who's Deputy Leader of Dorset Council. He's going to be talking about reset and recovery, so sort of life through and beyond COVID-19. So that's a Dorset Council perspective. I think that'll be really interesting. And also sort of a slightly different perspective, because our colleagues in the health service are presenting at 2 o'clock. So Phil Richardson from the NHS, he's got a session called Creating a Living Laboratory. So that sounds really interesting, sort of digital. To be honest, I don't know what that's about. It sounds quite intriguing, doesn't it? How about you, Matt? Is there anything in there that's caught your eye?
Yeah, well, across those sessions, there's a few things. I mean, and despite him waking me up in the early hours, there's a session at 11 a.m. with Sam McLaren on Kickstart Your Creativity. That caught my eye. Then this afternoon, we've got a session at 1 o'clock with Alex Smith from Nettle talking about digital tools to help business growth. And we've just been talking about that with obviously Digby. And it's really, really important for us in Dorset that we grow our business community with digital tools. So tune in to Alex Smith. I've heard him before. He's good. And then finally for me, there's our very own Lisa Trickey at 7 o'clock. It's Jin O Clock is the session that's talked about, with our very own Lisa Trickey talking about what it's like to work in a world of digital and change. And I think that'll be a really good session, assuming that Lisa didn't start the gin at 6. That'd be really, really good.
Right, we've got sort of 3 or 4 minutes left. I just want to let's go back to that theme that Digby raised about opportunities for young people in Dorset. I know that's something that's it's close to your heart. It's close to the Dorset Council's heart, really, as we were saying. How do we attract and retain talented people, create the environment for it? It's about creating having infrastructure to create the companies, to create the jobs. So what's your take on that? Where's Dorset Council on this?
Well, obviously, Dorset Council was only created in April 2019, so it's really young as a council, and that gives us a great opportunity to put digital at the heart of what we're doing, because we can see the benefits of that whole spectrum. You know, we want the best start in life for our young people in Dorset. We'd like to retain them here, so that means we need to attract jobs and investment for that. And we obviously want the benefits from digital as well for the rest of our population as well, not just the young people, but for the broad range. So, you know, living in Dorset into your older age, and we know we've got a lot of people who choose to live in Dorset into older age, and actually there's a whole economy around supporting them and helping them to live better lives, live independent lives in their home through digital adaptations and digital tools. So for me, I think digital's buzzing in Dorset, and hopefully loads of people will want to come here.
Yeah, and that you're talking about assistive technology. I think there's a session on assistive technology fairly early this morning as well.
Yeah,
that could be interesting to look at. And it was interesting, wasn't it? Digby was saying about connectivity and Wessex internet sort of growing out of frustration about the connectivity. So there's a real sense of spotting a niche in the market, doing something about it. And now it sounds like the Wessex internet is starting to diversify as well into agritech. Fascinating, isn't it? Really good. And I guess it's also, so it's what we just talked about there about companies setting up to attract people in, but also I think it's a bit of a game changer, isn't it? The remote working. We've got how many people have you got in the council working from home at the moment, Matt?
So we've got 5,000 employees. We've got 2,000 currently working at home.
Yeah, and is your sense that that's just for a period of time, or is that kind of a step change for the organisation for the future?
Well, certainly talking to the organisation, talking to colleagues, they're really mindful about that and saying, actually, I quite like that balance. A lot of people are missing being in a physical space with people. We get that, understand that, and obviously during the pandemic, we're trying to keep people safe from the pandemic. But actually, people are saying in the future, maybe I'd like to work at home sort of 3 or 4 days a week and just coming in for sort of catch-ups and team meetings. So I think, you know, that workspace of the future, just as Digby was talking about, you know, out there in the community will become, I think, far more prevalent. We're hearing that from big business. I think we'll see that in Dorset. It allows us great opportunities to do something different and to provide some really great services for our residents and make Dorset that great place to live, work and visit.
Live, work and visit, yes, and it's two way, isn't it? So there's you can live and work, or live and base yourself in Dorset and work elsewhere globally, or you can live globally and do your work for Dorset. So it's an amazing unlocking experience, isn't it?
We've got a session today, haven't we? We've got a guy working in Dorset supporting the Rwandan government.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable, really. But that's the power of it, isn't it? As you say, you can live here and get the great benefits of a wonderful county, as Digby has said, and work somewhere else, or you can, you know, perhaps work somewhere else and be somewhere else and work into Dorset with some specific skills. But fantastic place, Dorset.
Right, I think we should start to wrap it up there. Time to grab some more breakfast before the first show starts. As ever, should we have a quick Twitter check-in, Matt? Anything caught your eye on Twitter?
Well, we've talked about a number of things. There was quite a lot of interest in the camper vans. There was a lot of feedback around the sessions yesterday, which was really, really helpful. A few people saying, how can I get more involved? So actually, you know, follow that Digital Dorset. And you can find out what's more on the programme. As you said yesterday, just find a search engine. Any search engine will do. And put in Festival of the Future and you'll get there.
Good. Okay, I think that's probably it for the morning then. So let's wish everybody that's attending the sessions a great day. We'll see you for the final instalment of our behind the scenes backstage tomorrow. Once again, we'll look back what's happened today and look forward to the day ahead. So I think that's probably it. So Matt, is it your turn for the bacon?
I thought I cooked yesterday, so I think it's your turn to cook.
Okay. And do you have ketchup or brown sauce?
No, definitely no ketchup, no brown sauce.
Okay.
Can't do that.
Right. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you later. Bye.
Well, I don't know why you were asking me. It was my turn. It was definitely your turn to cook.
but you don't always like the way I do it, because I toast the toast on one side, not the bread, and then leave it bread on the other to give that crispy on the outside.
Very clear. It's crispy bacon, white bread, just a little bit of butter. Nothing else.
Half toasted.
By day 3, we might have this sorted. All right.
Okay.
Worst thing is you'll let your Labrador out and the meat not making up before we can get started.
To me out of house and home.
Oh, well, there you go. That's labs for you. You want to get an old one like that. It's too slow.
Do you think Lisa Tricky will be all right by 7?
I hope she's got a good Dorset Conquer gym.
She's worked so hard on the session. I saw her last night at 6 and she was exhausted. Day 2.
Okay, good stuff. Right, I can smell it's nearly ready. I'm coming over to your van.
Okay.
Cheers.